Hi, and welcome back to Sports Talk with Billy Petty. The show is presented by Petty Sports. Maybe it's small, but we're on the ball. So welcome back to Petty Sports today. Or not Petty Sports, Sports Talk. And we got a bunch of things to go over. Basically, I'm going to start out with something that I found out a couple days ago. And it involves a couple high school teams from down in Florida, I believe it is. And one guy from the team got into a little bit of a scuffle with a referee. In the beginning, just a little pushing and shoving, but then it got a little bad. Fortunately, I do have the video here, so you can see it. And it'll go through a couple of foul shots at first, and then possession, but then you'll get the entertainment. So there you go, high school basketball game fight, and this wasn't very pretty. By the way, it is number 10, so keep your eye on number 10. There it is. And that was it right there. And obviously that is really inexcusable. In my opinion, I don't know why you would have to even make contact with the ref like that. But to then pick him up and completely throw him on the ground like that, and that's basically unheard of. And it happened only a couple days ago in a high school basketball game in Florida. So, moving on from that, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Thursday night football game tonight, and that is the 49ers versus Chargers. Basically, both these teams are second place teams, and they're really are in the hunt for a playoff seeding. And you would say it's a little silly considering the 49ers are 5-8, but they're right there. And second or third place, I believe, next to the Seahawks and the Rams. As I look at this, they are 1.5 games out of first place, are the 49ers, and the San Diego is only a game out of first place with Kansas City. And with Matt Castle being hurt and stuff, I really think the best team of tonight's game has the best chance of going ahead and winning the division would be the Chargers. Because I don't think Kansas City can hold it together. Even if Matt Castle comes back and plays, I don't think he's going to be efficient enough. And that's why it's basically right. Okay, well, Chargers are 7-6, and they are known as a team that really comes back in the second half of the year. And basically is known as a second half football team. They usually have the struggles in the first half, and that was the case this year. And they beat the Raiders last week, and that was a key game, because if they didn't win that game, it would have been very difficult to attempt to come from behind here. in these last couple of games. So, I have to switch it. Well, technical difficulties. Alright, okay. Well, it's on at 8:30 tonight, and my opinion in this game is that the Chargers will come out on top, and I'm picking up a score of 35-13. Chargers out on top. Alex Smith had a very big game last week, and he's an up and down player. Obviously, I think that's the only quarterback that they can go with. Troy Smith is their backup quarterback, and he's not an NFL quarterback, in my opinion. He got it done on the college level, but he's just not going to be able to get it done in the NFL for years to come. He spent a couple of years with Baltimore, and then with San Francisco. I'm glad he's getting a chance to start and compete for the starting job, but it's not going to really work out for him. So Alex Smith will be starting today. He's an up and down guy, but I'm picking the Chargers to win because Phillip Rivers and the Chargers are just too good of a football team. They're at home, San Diego. It's a warm weather football team versus a warm weather football team. So I was talking about that in one of my other shows. It's harder for a cold football team to go, a warmer football team to go to a cold environment than it is vice versa. So I'm taking the Chargers in this game. I think they are without the starting tight end, Gates, number 85. I forgot his first name, but I think they're without him. But, they'll come out on top. Okay, so the next thing I got here is that Cliff Lee yesterday had the Phillies introduced him, Ruben Amaro Jr., and the Phillies organization introduced Cliff Lee, and his jersey number is going to be number 33. Now, he seemed thrilled and happy to be back with the Phillies, and that's understandable, considering how much he liked him and how upset he was when the Phillies traded him away last year. Obviously, this is a great rotation, and the Phillies are expected to go far into the playoffs, and they're expected to win the World Series. And I'm already giving you my World Series predictions here. It'll be the Red Sox and the Phillies. I have to see the season to see who's going to win, and how the rest of the offseason plays out, but that's my World Series already. And I have some of the interview here, so I'm going to play Cliff Lee talking to the media yesterday afternoon.
When you sit back and evaluate, your options, and you get a chance to, pitch in this rotation with, Halladay, Oswalt, Hamels. I mean, that's all I needed to see right there. Give me that a real option to do that. That's it. That was the main thing. Getting a chance to be part of that rotation with this team and what they've kind of established as the, in the NL East being the leader there, and with this team, it was kind of a no-brainer for me. I never held any grudges, for being traded. I understand it's a business and things like that happen. But from the moment I got here, from the first day, I knew it was something that was special and something that I enjoyed. And, I wasn't sure if I was going to get another opportunity to come back or not. But the way things played out, I got that opportunity, and here I am. Getting a chance to play in the National League. I prefer National League style baseball over American League style. And I like to hit. I enjoy hitting. I like to face the pitcher versus the designated hitter. I mean, that's definitely an advantage to that. Obviously, I enjoyed my time in Texas. We had a really good team. We made it to the World Series. I mean, that says enough for that team. And, it's tough. Sometimes making these kind of decisions are tough. But, when you get your family involved, let them tell you how they feel about it, and you weigh the pros and cons of everything, and kind of sit back and look at it from a distance, and let some time expire, and you weigh all your options. It's for me, it became an easy decision with this pitching staff and with this team and what they've done over the past few years.
And that was Cliff Lee yesterday. I'm talking to the media, and basically you heard him say how much he enjoyed Philadelphia and how glad he is to be back, and he prefers pitching in the National League over the American League, which would, I think, any pitcher. You saw Roy Halladay, his numbers increased significantly moving to the National League last year. The National League is weaker, period. And even though they've won the World Series the last 2 out of 3 years, they're known to be a um, weaker league than the American League. As we know, the National League did finally win an All-Star game last year, but the pitching and the hitting is known to be a lot more competitive in the American League, and it's also an advantage for pitchers that they do not have to face a DH, and he mentioned that in the National League, and he also enjoys to hit. So, basically, Cliff Lee is happy to be back, and the Phillies fans are happy to have him. They have an unbelievable rotation. I went through it last show. They got Halladay, Lee, Oswalt, Hamels. That'll probably be their top 4, and I'm not quite sure who's going to be the number 5 starter. Joe Blanton would be the 5 starter, but they have too much salary wrapped up in him, and they're probably going to let him go to free up some of the salary cap, because they have a lot invested in pitchers. I know Halladay's getting paid over $15 million. Lee is now getting paid over $15 million. You know, a lot of these guys are getting paid a lot of money. Ryan Howard is the most paid player at $19 million a year, and that's amazing when you consider how many times he's striking out during the whole entire year. I mean, he's got more strikeouts than he does plate appearances, it seems like. It's not really possible, but he strikes out way too many times, and I know he's paid to hit home runs, but you're not paid to strike out, and that's what Howard's been doing the last couple of years. In my opinion, he had one big year in 2006, and then he had decent years after that. I guess you can't say decent years, he had really good years, but every year the strikeouts have increased. And it's hurt the Phillies. I mean, he made the last out of the NLCS last year, swinging and missing. You know, he's really good at it. I mean, I could get paid $19 million a year to go stand at the plate and strike out. Anybody can do that. You pay money to guys who can do things that a limited amount of other people cannot. And that's why they get paid more money. And Howard is supposed to be hitting a lot of home runs. He has not been hitting a lot. I don't even think he got over 40 last year. And a significant drop in him. Phillies had a lot of injuries last year. And basically, if they can stay healthy this year with that pitching rotation, I feel they have a really good shot to make it deep into the playoffs. But what I think you have to look out for, and I saw this last year and it didn't happen luckily, that Roy Halladay, you have to watch him. He's had a lot of injuries in the past, and hopefully doesn't get injured. But if he does, we still have 3 more guys who can really step it up in their game, and we can bring up some other guys that will get the job done as well. The Phillies also thought about moving Raul Ibanez. Okay, so I have to move on now. But so that's it for the Cliff Lee. I don't know who saw it on Sunday, but a Jets coach tripped a Dolphins player running on the punt team, and a lot of people saying this is all set up, that the coaches line up that way purposely in order to try to trip them. And there was allegations about that. Rex Ryan claimed he had nothing to do with it and did not know anything about it. And basically, it's not a very good thing to do. But what the league did is uncalled for. Suspending him, fining him. You know, and now the Jets are talking about firing him. All I did was trip a guy. And what happens if Andre Johnson or Cortland Finnegan got a fine and they didn't even get suspended? But a coach trips a guy and he didn't even stick his foot in the white area. And now, that's kind of what aggravated me about it, was that he didn't even stick his foot in the white area. He was still way out of bounds. And first of all, it'd be a penalty on the Dolphins player for running out of bounds and coming back in. So, I don't think you can really blame it on the coach there. I mean, he did it intentionally, but he didn't stick his foot way out into the playing field. He didn't even go into the white area. And that's my point about that. So, don't suspend him, don't fire him, and most certainly don't take his money away for just tripping, you know?